white, rich or poor, all they care about is can you play? And that brings people together.
Inspiring the world around them.
Big Mama was not only a trailblazer for women, but she was a trailblazer for equality.
Making music, memories, and history.
Wilson Pickett, Aretha Franklin, Little Richard, Lou Rawls.
For those who lift every voice and sing.
WVTM 13 presents Project Community, Unsung Heroes of Black History.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Guy Rawlings.
And I'm Carla Wade. Right here in Central Alabama, the Magic City is steeped in musical history. Dinah Washington, Erskine Hawkins, Ella Fitzgerald, and many other Black pioneers have all taken the stage at the Carver Theater. It was once a hub for nightlife in a segregated Birmingham.
Since its opening in 1935, the venue has attracted some of the top jazz acts from across the country. And while many have traveled just to play here in Birmingham, other notable artists were born and raised right here in Alabama.
That includes Big Mama Thornton, the face behind one of Elvis Presley's most iconic hits. WVTM 13's Magdala Lusant traveled to Big Mama's hometown of Ayrton.
Yeah, she tells us how the singer continues to be remembered by her community.
Welcome to the town of Ayrton, a population of over 660 people. At the only traffic light in town sits an old bus station where a little girl named Willie Mae used to play her harmonica.
She was like 8, 9 years old playing her harmonica, which her brother taught her to play.
That young child would eventually become Big Mama Thornton to the world once they heard her vibrant, growling sound on her song, Hound Dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Those words would set Big Mama Thornton to become an artist who crosses racial barriers. Elvis Presley's Hound Dog version was a Big Mama Thornton influence. Today's pop stars like Doja Cat sampled Hound Dog in her song called Vegas.
Elvis Presley recorded about 3 years after that, but he recorded it, he heard it, a version of it done by a bar group. And that's where he picked it up. He changed the lyrics a little bit so it could appeal to the white audience.
Gil Anthony is the curator of this old bus station turned museum.
I just want people to realize what a force she was.
For 30 years, he's been collecting as many flyers, album covers, and handbills he can find about Big Mama.
It shows her versatility because she does some sort of contemporary R&B type things.
Anthony and Big Mama's cousin, Benjamin Key, have been working on the museum together.
We often tell Gil he has revived her life because she was dead to us, but he brought her back to life.
Key is a counselor for Ayrton. He says his mother and grandmother always told him stories about Big Mama.
This was a project that I was instrumental in trying to get here, and it was. I thought it would be something good for the town of Ayrton and for Dale County.
Just last year, the men traveled to witness Big Mama Thornton get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
To see that young people, knew that much about her and what she did for the music industry.
While that recognition may have come decades late, the work to honor Willie Mae in her hometown started in 2023 with the new street name, Big Mama Thornton Circle.
Sort of a long-range plan is in Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church, just about a half a mile away. We'd want to put just a memorial, a monument for Big Mama, because her remains will probably never come to Ayrton, Alabama.
For now, this old bus station turned into a museum will be the memorial for the little girl who became a big force in music history. In Ayrton, Alabama, I'm Magdala Lusant, WVTM 13.
And on March 1st, the museum will have its official grand opening. In addition to seeing artwork that is honoring Big Mama, visitors will have a chance to learn more about blues musician J.W. Warren, who was born in Enterprise, Alabama.
Hitsville, USA, home of the signature Motown sound. The recording studio in Detroit churned out some of your favorite acts of the 1960s, from the Miracles to the Supremes. But one of Motown's greatest comes from right here in Central Alabama. WVTM 13's Jarvis Robertson tells us how the legacy of Eddie Kendricks lives on in the Magic City.
So when you think about the Temptations, some of their most iconic songs come to light. Songs like My Girl or Beauty's Only Skin Deep. At the forefront of many of their hits is one undeniable and memorable voice, that being Eddie Kendricks. This sculpture of the Birmingham native was commissioned in the late 90s. The bronze sculpture sits in the historic 4th Avenue Business District North. Eddie Kendricks was born in Birmingham in 1937 and was discovered by Motown Records in Detroit, Michigan. The sculpture was done by Dr. Ronald McDowell. He told us it took about 6 months to a year to finish. The artist says he came up with 3 different models. To help with preparation, McDowell spent time with the Kendrick family learning about who Eddie was. His nickname was Cornbread because it was one of his favorite foods. McDowell says the R&B star's mother also gave input on how Eddie's body would look through the sculpture.
I had his mom come to the Foundry at Brad Morton Studios on 2nd Avenue South, where we cast the statues. And she would come in and she kind of helped me with the way she wanted his body to look. And she said he was super thin.
Eddie Kendricks died of lung cancer in October 1992. While this tangible sculpture stands in his memory and honor, his iconic and smooth falsetto voice can still be heard in his many recordings today. Jarvis Robertson, WVTM 13.
From central Alabama to our neighbors to the north, Muscle Shoals, home of one of the nation's most legendary recording studios.
For more than 6 decades, Fame Studios has been propelling artists of all backgrounds, and that mission continues today. WVTM 13's Lisa Crane introduces us to the Muscle Shoals sound.
Welcome to Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals. This unassuming building has hosted more musical icons than you can imagine. Inside, you can feel the historic significance.
Otis Redding, Dwayne Allman, Jerry Reed.
The walls tell the story of Fame's rich history. Every item in the building is significant.
This room was added on in 1967.
Rodney Hall runs Fame now, but it was his father, Rick, who started the studio back in 1959.
He happened across a guy named Arthur Alexander, who was a local bellhop, was a black man from Florence, and they recorded a song called "You Better Move On" and became a hit. His next artist was a guy named Jimmy Hughes from Leeton, Alabama. And they had a song called "Steal Away," which was a hit. So he was batting 1,000 doing R&B and soul music, and just figured out that that's where he had found his niche.
And the artist found him.
It just snowballed into Wilson Pickett, Aretha Franklin, Little Richard, Lou Rawls, Solomon Burke, Etta James, on and on and on. And if you were an R&B soul artist in the 60s and 70s, you recorded here, or you wanted to.
As the country struggled with social and political upheaval and many in Alabama suffered racial injustice, it was a different world inside Fame Studios.
North Alabama was kind of a safe haven. It was always kind of a Union sympathizer, even back in the Civil War. So it was safe here, you know. And it was the first integrated rhythm section in Alabama for sure, and one of the first in the country.
Hall says his dad launched the careers of many black musicians. He's now remembered as a man who broke barriers for black artists. Hall says he doesn't think his dad realized that at the time.
He didn't care about color. He didn't care about anything. All he cared about was cutting a hit record. And he realized that it had happened later, but I'm not sure that he realized the full impact that it had, that the music had on society.
You think that's something he was proud of?
Absolutely. 100%, yeah. He was very proud that happened.
Even now, 66 years after Rick Hall started the studio, Fame is still launching careers and recording hits. Hall says it's that Muscle Shoals sound they're all searching for.
There's a thread that runs through it all, and I think that's soul, which is believability, which is authenticity. The up-and-comings just want to get that sound. They just want, a piece of, they want that same kind of, what they hear in Wilson Pickett and Aretha Franklin records, they want it on their records.
Hall says the world outside Fame Studios has changed a lot since 1959, but not so much inside. They're still focused on the sounds, not the color, and they're ready to make dreams come true for the next generation of legends.
It's all about music. If you can play and you can sing and you can bring it, then you're welcome here.
Lisa Crane, WVTM 13.
And just like Hall says, today's artists continue to bring it at Fame Studios.
And recently, Fame recorded projects for artists like Alicia Keys, Demi Lovato, and Jason Isbell in the 400 unit.
Ain't gonna ride no bus no more. Y'all can have that bus if you want to, but until you all change the way you are treating us about this bus, hey, we walking.
At 80 years old, one woman's reflecting on her role in the Montgomery bus boycott.
How she and her friends used their voices to promote change and equality.
And many recognize activist Rosa Parks for taking a stand during the civil rights movement by refusing to give up her seat to a white person on a segregated bus. But fewer people know of the 15-year-old girl who took part in a similar protest 9 months before Parks was arrested. Hidden in the shadows of civil rights history is Claudette Colvin. On March 2, 1955, the teenager was charged with violating Montgomery's segregation law when she ignored an order to move to the back of the bus. Colvin says at the time, the Montgomery NAACP didn't advocate on her behalf, possibly because of her darker complexion or the fact that she became pregnant at a young age. Her juvenile record was finally expunged in 2021 when Colvin was 82 years old. Today, she continues to advocate for social justice across the country.